Hey gorgeous, this is episode number 315 with the wonderful Joy Bufalini, who is actually starting with the first episode in the third year of Heart Sells podcast.
Hi, this is Joy Bufalini. You are listening to Heart Sells podcast with Christine Schlonski.
I am so excited to have Joy Bufalini on the show today. She has been in the coaching industry for over 10 years, and she has been featured in both Entrepreneur and O magazine. Using her signature Simplify to Multiply method, she helps clients to double and triple their sales without doing launches, webinars, sales funnels, or ads. So I'm super excited to have Joy here today. In case we have not met yet, I am Christine Schlonski, the host of Heart Sells podcast, where I talk with inspirational, successful, heart-centered entrepreneurs and business leaders about how they have built a wildly successful business and in many cases had to overcome their challenges in selling their products and services. Some of my amazing past guests include Bob Burke, John Lee Dumas, Ian Altman, and Andrea Waltz. Before we dive into today's episode, this episode is brought to you by Heart Sells Academy, where I am the founder of, and we support heart-centered, ambitious entrepreneurs to sell with ease, grace, and confidence while being authentic and true to their values, and we help them to double and triple their own revenue and really enjoy the sales process. So if you feel that selling is kind of in your way and holds you back, you probably want to send us an email and let's have a chat about how we can support you, your impact and business growth. You can hop on over to christineschlonski.com to find out more. So let's dive in with the wonderful Joy Bufalini and let's find out the path to high ticket sales. Well, I am so super excited you are here today, Joy. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, I just love your work. It's all about making things simple in your business and really going for where you can add the highest value and also asking for a high ticket. And, we are just going to start right in with that high ticket stuff. And I know a lot of people thinking now or feeling it even in their stomach, like, high ticket, that sounds like I have to take a lot of money. And then maybe this little voice like, is it worth that kind of money? Can I deliver? Can I do stuff? So take us a little bit into your high ticket world. And how did you get that inspiration and the confidence to grow into a high ticket person? And why do you teach that to entrepreneurs?
Yeah. Oh, thanks for asking. And I'm really passionate mainly about helping business owners, primarily women, to find the simplest, quickest, easiest path to the growth that they desire, the income goals, the sales, the clients. And just to backtrack the story a little bit, I've been a coach for 10 years now. I started my business, quite a while ago, started from a place of passion of wanting to help people. I have a special needs child, and there was a lot of mindset shifts and growth that eventually led to me becoming a coach and wanting to help people and really see a new way of thinking about life and their purpose in life. It eventually moved me into being a business coach. But being a special needs mom, I didn't have a lot of time. It was not an option for me to be working 60 hours a week in my business. But I spent the first few years really doing all the things, all the low ticket offers, all the webinars, all the sales funnels, all the, the ads, and just trying so many different things. And I was working really hard. I wasn't making much money. And that's when I learned about this idea of a high ticket offer. Like, well, that sounds really neat, but how do I sell that? How do we think it's about I have to show my value, or how do I, work on my money mindset enough to be able to do that? And I really started educating myself in this. And I really had an aha moment after doing like another launch that was a ton of work and just, a couple $1,000s in return. I realized that if I was open to shifting my thinking on this, that it really could be a lot easier if I just focused on, let's say, back then it was like 3 new clients a month. What if I had 3 new 5K clients a month? Oh, well, that's $15,000 really, very simply. So what I started doing was simplifying things. I let go of doing, launches with 10 emails, and the sales funnels and ads. And I just started building community and sharing really valuable content to them. So that was mainly via Facebook group, my email list as well, of course. And I kind of was almost testing it. I had really not seen it modeled, although I'd learned about high ticket. I really was like, let's just see what's possible. And I had my first multi-6-figure year with a Facebook group of 500 people and an email list of 500 people.
OMG.
Yeah. And I was like, wait, I'm onto something, because all the experts and all my coaches and all my colleagues were like, what? You did what with that size of a community? And there was overlap between both those communities. There were some people there in my group and my email list. It wasn't even 1,000 people in total. And I realized I was onto something here. I was working less hours, and I was enjoying the clients who signed up because they were highly vested in themselves and in getting a result. They were so much easier to work with too, in coaching them in their business. So I actually reverse engineered the process, and that became my Simplify to Multiply brand, right? It's really about offers, messaging, and sales process being really simple. But high tickets, can feel scary, right? Especially if you're having trouble getting people to buy a $397 offer, right? That was me.
So what was your mindset shift, right? Because I love the high ticket concept, and for me, it already has served me really, really well. And yes. I rather start with a high ticket, and then I'm thinking like, what else could I do for people who can't afford it? What do I want to offer? But then I'm coming from that place of choice.
Yes.
And I think that's really important for an entrepreneur.
Yes.
What was your mindset shift? What was this? Wow, like 3 people are signing up for 5K each in 1 month. How many people would you have needed for a $300 or $400 offer, right? Coming from the place where you did not have the size of the list and the community. Yes. What happened to your mindset?
That's a great question. Well, I saw that the numbers just didn't work. If there's a 1 to 3% conversion rate, and mine were higher than that, but that's industry standard, with sales. Yeah. 1 to 3% of my audience is going to buy from me. Well, if it's only $397, I'm not going to be making much money. And you have to keep filling that pipeline too, right? You have to keep selling that low ticket offer to keep, those numbers up. It's a lot of sales you have to make. So you're exactly right, Christine. It's a choice. You have to really decide, I'm going to own this path. This is the path I want to learn. And you really do have to work on some of your triggers around money and sales, and actually around abundance too. See, what used to happen to me, and I'm sure this is probably true for some of you in the audience, you think, oh, I'm taking 5K from someone. Like, oh, I can see it. They're going to have 5K less, right? Mm-hmm. And what I was doing is not seeing at all the value I was bringing to them. Okay. And when I got a whole new concept of what I was actually selling. So for a business owner, the time that they're working with me, let's just say it was a 5K offer. The time that they're working with me, if I can deliver specific results that can give them 5K back in their pocket and a lot more, right? Either while we're working together or shortly after, right? If I can really see that value and own that value, you have to own it first internally. And also the internal shifts that will happen for them. I mean, that really helped me a lot to really own, like, I have a lot of value to bring to the table. And everybody does, even if you're not selling something to business owners where they're going to go make money. When you're selling transformation, you're saving someone 5K in medical bills, right? If you've helped them transform their health. You've saved them 5K in a divorce if you're a relationship coach, if you help them to save their marriage, right?
I just thought about that because I have a client who helps people in their marriage. And we just had the conversation the other day. I was like, just think about how much it costs to get a divorce.
Yes.
Put that
Everything
onto the
has a
value
cost.
side. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything has a cost that may not be in the moment, but every problem, if it's a high value problem, they really, really need it solved. See, if somebody who's kind of like, oh, I'd like my marriage to be better. Oh, I'd like to make a little more money. Oh, I'd like to be a little healthier. Those are not your high ticket clients. Your high ticket client needs a very pressing problem solved, and they want it solved now. And when you can give them that value right away, and it's just a match for exactly what they need, it's not something that they've tried before, it's something unique and differentiated, and you can share that and show that in your messaging, how what you do is different than what they've done before. And then they actually do get that problem solved on the other side of, working with you, being in your program. Then there's a use value too, which most of us forget about. How is their life different now, or their business different now, or their marriage different now, or their health different? Like, how does their whole life change after that? And you really can't even put a price tag on that, right? On use value. So once I started to really understand value, and that a result is more valuable to one person than another, right? Not everybody's going to value the result I provide. They may not be ready. They may not be in enough, as they call it, pain. Yes. I don't like to call it that, but it's just gotten to a point where, okay, I need to change this now. That's your high ticket clients. And you can actually attract high ticket clients by making a shift to your messaging, by being really clear who it's for, where they're at in their journey, what they've tried before, how you're different than other people. And it does require some self-reflection. Really, this is one of the things I help my clients with, and it can be challenging. Like, what is my genius? What is my differentiator? What is the value that I really need to own, that I bring to the table? And I often talk with women, and I uncover their process and how they actually get results for their clients. And I'm blown away. Like, I have no idea that they have this unique expertise, this unique modality they use. There's just so many entrepreneurs that have so many gifts and talents and experiences they bring to the table, but they're really not fully owning them. And so they're playing small with the lower ticket offers, because that's where their own personal level of ownership and belief is at.
I love this. So how could a person start to make a change right after they listened to our conversation? Obviously it's a process, and you work with people a little bit longer than just one session, but let's give them like a little something so they can put that into action and start working on that mindset. Because once you've experienced charging a $2,000, a $5,000, a $10,000, or even more dollar ticket, and you see the transformation that your clients are having by paying you that kind of money, you can never, ever forget this experience.
Absolutely. Right? And then you start owning it, right? So what I would say to someone who's thinking about doing this, first of all, go to the basics. I know you hear this a lot, but my clients, before their first call with me, no matter what program they're in, because I work with clients from just a few years into business to ones that are building from multi-six to $1 million, is to identify your yes client. That's my term, your yes client, right? A little different than ideal client. Who is your yes client for a specific offer? And there are certain things that are true of that person, right? And their personality traits and, things that they've tried before and that make them unique and different. And then start shifting your emails, your social media posts to speaking to them. And what's really neat is, first of all, you have to shift to a bit of a belief here. There's a belief shift, because most people say, oh, nobody's in my audience will pay 10K or 20K. There's just no way, right? Because you've never had evidence of it yet. You've only had evidence of struggling with maybe even a 1 or 2K offer, right?
And you never ask either, right?
Right. It's not like you never ask, would you ever, no, nobody's going to spend money. People will invest money, right? When they can see it's a match for them. Yeah, nobody's going to spend 10K, but they will invest it in themselves. So first of all, it's a belief. Because I have the desire to serve this person, so this goes to the identify your yes client, the person who has really something they want solved and it's really important to them, it's a high priority to them, really believing that because you have the desire to serve them, that those people exist in your world or a degree or two away right now. I
Ooh,
mean, this is really
powerful,
belief.
powerful.
Yeah, this is really a belief in how the universe works, right? You know, we talk about law of attraction and, you know, all of these things about manifesting. But if you think about it, it would be kind of a mean universe that would give you a desire to do something and not have the way there. And that's actually one of our simplify to multiply principles, is that everything I need is in my world right now or just a degree or two away. So it's really having this abundance mindset, like I desire to serve this client who is eager to invest 5K and will show up to every call and implement everything and get great results. See, it's not really just about the money. The money's nice,
Yeah.
but these are great clients to work with too. And a lot of my people that, you know, reach out to me, they actually want to work with a more evolved client. They want to work with someone who's going to, you know, ready for a real transformation, whether it's inner, outer to their business, you know, wherever it's at. So it's really, you know, believing, okay, here's my yes client, here's who I want to serve, and believing that they are in your world. That's sort of a conscious decision you have to make. And then start sharing content. So that's the next step that you could start doing right away, is identify that and start writing to that person. You know, you don't have to write. Your content does not have to be for everybody, from the beginners to those who are the more advanced people, you know, further along in their journey that you really want to be serving. But you asked, Christine, and this is a great question. What do you do about people who can't afford, really can't afford a 5K or 10K offer, or aren't ready for it, right? They're just not far enough in their journey. So this is my approach on this. Again, you know, everything everyone needs is in their world right now, right? It's somewhere in our field. And once we open to it, there it is, right? When I saw all the work it took for me to create, deliver, and also maintain those low ticket offers, right? All the content creation, all the emails to go out, all of the maintenance of logins and passwords. And, you know, when people came in and memberships, oh, that's a lot of work. And it occurred to me, why don't I just share that level of content for free? So I shifted my message to just speaking to the high ticket clients, but I share tons of free high value content. And here's the cool thing. There's no unhappy clients wanting a refund on a $37 offer, right? There's no login problems. There's no payment issues. There's nothing. It's just free content, right? And those who ideally will eventually become my high-end clients, they're going to follow along. They're going to learn, and I'm helping them, right? But my sales and who I'm serving is focused on a higher level of clients, but I'm helping tons of people who are getting ready to be there, right? Who are learning and growing. And it's just really simple, you know, to deliver that free value and not be attached to, you know, having to make a, you know, $50 sale or even a $300 sale.
Yeah, I love the concept because I know you are a giver yourself, and I love to give. And I always find it difficult, like, where do you put like the lid on, right? What piece do you give and what don't you give? So I'm also a big believer that when you give your best stuff away, I call them soulmates, so your soulmate clients, your yes clients, they will be attracted to you and they want more. Mm-hmm. And they are ready, right? You don't have to drag a person into your world or push them or squeeze them or, you know, sell them something. You just make that offer, and I think your yes client is going to be drawn to you, and they want to know more. They want that personal support and touch and you in their journey, basically.
Absolutely. And sales becomes so much easier when they're really clear who you are, your modality, your philosophy, right? So I'm really clear on that. I'm different than a lot of other business coaches, right? I don't teach people to do, launches or memberships or things like that. And that's fine. You want to do that. That's great. Find people to do that. But since I'm really clear on my lane, people can either follow along and decide, I want that lane too. And so when they do reach out and are interested in working with me, the sales process is pretty easy too, because that's sometimes the fear when it comes to high ticket offers, that, oh, we're going to have a 90-minute sales call and there's going to be lots of back and forth and there'll be objections to handle. Objection handling is pretty much gone in my world. So if someone reaches out, I make sure they've been in my group and they know my content. And, for those of you listening, make sure you're warming people up. If you have a cold lead reach out to you, and especially if you have high ticket offers, make sure that they're really clear on what you are and what you aren't and how you're unique and differentiated. Then by the time you get to the sales call, they're already really clear. They're pretty much pre-sold already, right? That's the ideal. Yeah. And then once you really master this process of really actually pre-selling through your content and how you're unique and different, you can start selling in Messenger, which is how I sell now. So over 20K without sales calls. Like that's the real simplification there, right? When you have these really great clients signing up, and you can let go of the sales call piece if you want to. It's not something you have to let go of completely, but it can get easier and more fluid, and which is just allows you to have more spaciousness and mostly spend your days either writing content to your audience that you love and serve them in that way, or spend your time serving your current clients. There's not a lot of other things to do.
Yeah, I love how simplified that is and how that works. I had the question myself the other day, like, how do you handle objections? And I had to think about it. And you just said that so beautifully. Like, when you're really clear on who you serve and people have followed you, they don't have any objections. They just want to know what it looks like working with you. And then they already have decided. So if they can figure out the money piece, they're in.
Yes, exactly. And you can allude to results and the value of those results in your content, right? And they'll be able to see it. They'll be able to expect it. So it won't be a surprise, when you say the investment level. It's if you're vague and general and kind of jargony in your content, and they don't see you, they just see you as like, oh, I need to hire a business coach, or, oh, I need to hire a health coach. Oh, she's a health coach. Let me reach out to her, right? They're not really educated enough to see a 5K, 7K, 3K, 10K, whatever it is. They're not educated enough to see that value. And so they're just going to price shop, right? Because they're just looking for a health coach. But if they're really clear on, I have this problem I need to solve, I've done all of these things before, and I think the problem is actually this, and then they find someone who's, oh, yeah, that's exactly what I thought the issue was. And you have the solution. That's great. So it's kind of like an alignment piece too, that client was already kind of aligned in the direction of, whatever it is your expertise is. They're already kind of aligned that way, or they read your content, watch your videos, listen to podcasts, those kind of things for a little while. And they educate themselves to say, yeah, I think that's the right way for me. Yeah. So it really makes the process simpler.
Yeah. And therefore you should be giving great content, right? So people can really connect with you. Yes. And I just love that philosophy, right? There are people who probably will never buy from you or me because we've given them so much, but their lives have been deeply impacted in a very positive way. They had a transformation. And that's just so fulfilling when this happens with the stuff you share, right?
Yes. And it feels good to be in that abundance mindset too, right? Of not being attached to, I was taught that way, right? In the early days of marketing, that I was starting and growing my business, don't share too much, don't give away your secret sauce, and what I ended up being was kind of general, vague, jargony, right? And people would buy from me, but it was more because they knew me from some other context, or they had followed me for a while and I just happened to be the one, person that was in their world. But you know what? A lot of those clients actually didn't drag their feet a little bit, right? They didn't really, they weren't really pre-sold in their mind, on like, this is the way. It was more, okay, I'm going to get me in some joy energy and I'm going to hire joy and that'll just like fix everything versus like how I do it. I want them to be on board with.
Yeah, totally hear you. So let me ask you, what was the very first thing that you ever sold in your life?
Oh, that's a really
Like the
great
very
question.
first memory that comes up.
Yes, it was probably like a $25 membership to a group, like a support group. I was a life coach initially. So it may have even been a book club membership, if I remember it, if we're going back 10 years. So
Yeah. Are there any memories before? Like maybe did you sell anything as a child? Like how did
oh,
sales come
that's
into your world?
interesting. Yes. You know, I don't remember being someone that sold a lot, like I didn't have the lemonade stand or anything like that. But I was a teacher. I was a middle school teacher. And teachers are actually salespeople too. They're selling ideas.
Totally. Yeah.
Selling ideas. So I always loved teaching and I loved the light bulb moment. So it was something that was naturally in my personality and that connection and that transformation, even if it was a sixth grade in reading class, right? Sixth grader, they had this aha moment, just like, oh, I get it now, right? Or doing math, the hard math problem, right? Of just like,
Yeah.
oh, I get it now, right?
Yeah.
So sales kind of is that light bulb moment. It's like,
Oh, totally.
hey,
Yeah.
like I get it. This is yes, this is right. This is yes. So yeah, I kind of became sort of an accidental coach. I was doing it more from a place of passion to start with in my first few years versus making money. And then after a couple of years, like, okay, my kids are getting older and my daughter with her special needs had a lot of extra expenses. Really, the debt was mounting, really. I've got to go get a job or I've got to figure out how to make money. So I went down that low ticket offer launch, model for a little while and, got to a point and like, this is not working. Okay. I think I went and interviewed for some jobs and then I just really made this decision like, no, my passion is to serve people as a coach. I can go work for some company and do marketing, sure, but that's not what I meant to do. So just really drawing that line in the sand and saying, this is the business model I'm going to choose. It's in alignment for me. My gut says, that you can do this. Business owners sometimes have to spend the first couple years, trying things, figuring out what's aligned for their personality, what they love, what they don't love. I didn't like spending my whole day, creating a landing page or setting up email funnels and things like that.
Yeah.
Some people love that, that's great. And if it's working for you and you're getting good ROI for it, that's great. But I think it's important for everyone to just step back and look at their business model, and make sure, is it really aligned with my personality and my desires and my goals and how I want to serve people?
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I'm so glad we have another conversation because I do want to touch on the abundance piece that you started to kind of put into the conversation a little bit earlier, because that's such an important piece to have in the thinking to really help you to up level and uplift. And we will have that in the next conversation. Thank you so much, Joy, for having been here, for bringing joy to the listeners, and for sharing. I mean, people can take action now. And they can really start shifting their mindset, seeing more of the value they provide and make a shift in their businesses. So that's really amazing. Thank you.
Oh, it's very exciting. And I wanted to acknowledge you, Christine, that this is your beginning of your third season of your podcast. So congratulations on that. Thank you for having me on. And I look forward to our next conversation to talk more on the thinking and the philosophy of abundance in this.
Cool. Thank you so much. What an amazing episode. I just loved the inspiration. I loved the golden nuggets Joy just shared in her process of how she has gotten to the path of high ticket sales. Hop on over to christineschlonski.com, find the podcast tab and all the links that connect to Joy. Make sure you connect with her and also you get her amazing free gift, the Easy Yes sales process. And once you're over there, check out the show notes, the resource section, the transcript. And in the resource section, there is Joy's free gift, as well as a link to the Heart-Centered Lead Generation Summit experience, which will give you 40 amazing experts who are sharing their secrets in lead generation. And this one is all for free. So hop on over to ChristineSchlonski.com, find the podcast tab, and there you have all the information at your fingertips and all the episodes on Hard Sales Podcast. I'm so super excited that you are here and that I have gotten to start this new year of Hard Sales Podcast, the third year, with the wonderful Joy Bufalini. And she will be back in the next episode where we talk about how to simplify to multiply. Thanks so much for listening. Have a wonderful day wherever you are in this beautiful world. And I'm saying bye for now.